Thanks so much, Toby, and absolute pleasure to be here. I think from all my years in agriculture, this is a culmination of many developments, and I think quite disruptive you'll find as we go through this presentation and talk about some of the areas where we're building carbon. I thought in terms of the flow today, I'll give a bit of an overview and background on LawrieCo and how we've become leaders in the building of carbon and the background to that. Then I'll have Harry Clark, our National Carbon and Project agronomist. And at the end, I think one of the questions we often get from our distributors and farmer customers is then how do we actually transition? And what are the simple steps that we've found have actually delivered the outcomes? So I've got Rodney Cape on to speak through that. And Rod's background is in farm management and is also one of the preeminent authorities in practical biological integration across farming systems in Australia. So whilst we're focusing a bit on cropping today, I do think it's important that we operate across a lot of segments, the dairy market, pasture markets, grazing markets, and horticultural markets. So we've had experience in how to best improve productivity and also build carbon across those. So LawrieCo is a family business. The Laurie family were farmers in South Australia and noticed over a lot of years their soil carbon was continuing to decline. So more than 3 decades ago, they started on a quest of how do we actually turn this around and how do we start to put and increase soil carbon back into the business. So through that journey, they then formed the company LawrieCo, and we now distribute products and advice across Australia in partnership with our distributors and really work and walk with our producers on how do we actually get outcomes. So one of the key things, and I guess the differentiator for us, has really been that the DNA of LawrieCo has all been around increasing soil carbon, but more as a measure of productivity and soil health. And obviously 30 years ago, didn't have any idea that we were going to be able to be part of this very exciting and emerging market around carbon farming. So the other part I think is really important. The relationship with AgriProve goes back over a decade as well. And what we think is important for Australian farmers is to be able to not only establish carbon farming, but also on what are the processes and the advice and the systems that are working to be able to get that out. So I'll just, that'll be part of the focus of today's presentation. Thanks, Toby.